We've been breeding high CBD strains, and so we need to run a lot of tests to figure out which plants have the high CBD, and so that gets expensive. So we've found another way to do the test, which costs almost nothing. It's called the beam test, and there's a few different variations on it. The way we do it, we figured we'd make a video, show people how to do it in case you're in a situation where you want to figure out if plants have high CBD or not, or if flower has high CBD, and maybe you don't have access to a lab, or it can be expensive if you're doing 10 or 20 or more samples process. The overall plan is basically to dissolve the samples in these little tubes with a small amount of rubbing alcohol. Then we drip a little bit of each of those on this paper in a little circle on each spot, and after it's dried, we're going to drip another substance onto those spots, and then it's going to react with the color that tells us about how much CBD is in each sample. So here's the actual instructions. It only takes 2 ingredients, which are pretty easy to get and cheap. It's rubbing alcohol, 91% or greater. I don't know if 70% works or not. I've heard that you wanted to use 90% or more. And then potash, which is potassium hydroxide, KOH. This is a 4-ounce pack I got off Amazon. You can get it by the bucket for pretty cheap, but this will last me for hundreds of samples, so I just get a small pack. So first we're going to mix the samples with the alcohol in their little tubes. So I'm going to take these, I already have them sort of separated. It's supposed to be 0.1 grams, but I just eye it out, whatever will fit into these little tubes. It doesn't give you a very quantitative measurement anyway, so it's sort of a waste of time to try to get really exact with all these measurements. But in general, I do I normally advocate, being exact in measurements and everything. So that you can see it's pretty much close to the bottom there. Cap it. Number one. And I'm gonna write here GG next to 1. So I'll just save the time for the video and skip to the next part. Step is adding the alcohol into the tubes. So I actually put these in order. I wrote with the Sharpie, but one thing to be careful about is that Sharpie sometimes rubs off. So it's actually the best thing is to put them in some type of order. If you have a rack, that helps, but whatever. So number 1 here, they should each get, so I got this shot glass full of rubbing alcohol. This is a 1 ml dropper. I just drip in basically by eye till it reaches close to the top. So that one got clogged, so because it's stuffed in there, so I'm gonna use this paper clip to sort of stir it and break it up, and then drip more in there until I can get it close to the top. And you want to be a little careful not to suck stuff back in and then contaminate the shot glass, because if there's high CBD, you're going to get it in all the others. So this one's more of a trouble than most, but I'm going to keep dripping it here. Alright. So then this paper clip also, if you're going to be careful about anything, this is contamination. So now this paper clip, has some whatever, maybe CBD. I'm going to rinse it in this other one here. And I could throw it out, but whatever. I'm going to use it for a couple. So now number 2, And I just have these extra droppers sitting here. They're just, eventually I'm going to use one of these droppers for the potash. But I don't know, you probably just, you don't need 3 of them. You could probably do it with 1 or 2. So that one's easy. Alright, so I'm going to skip ahead now. We've got a couple of those done.